Yeah, yeah, yeah. But usually I prefer the blackout because the problem with, and this is just not to just get into technical stuff. The problem with curtains is when you have a curtain, you almost immediately make it that you're using what is called proscenium staging, a regular stage. Whereas these plays that I have with the blackouts, they could be in theater in the round, and you get a different perspective in theater in the round. I don't know if you've ever been to a theater in the round production versus a regular proscenium, I think it's
I
called.
haven't.
Um, but theater in the round is in a sense more immersive. But anyway,
Why do you say that? As I have not been to. I can't differentiate. So explain.
well, because if you have people all around you, the actors they can't play to just one strength. They have to be totally acting with their total bodies. Because if you're, I remember seeing uh, King Lear in Theater in the Round. Now, this is where they had a naked fool, and he had a penis about the size of a snail, and so because he was naked, it was ridiculous. But other than that, it was better to see it in Theater in the Round because the actors then can't just emote in one area. They have to be totally in the character. If someone is in a regular stage situation and they're in the back of someone, they're a minor character. But if you're in Theater in the Round, if you're the character who's in the inferior position at that moment as another character's monologuing, and you're just standing, you have to be in that moment. You just can't slack off the way you can in a proscenium theater. So, Theater in the Round, if it's allowed for by what's needed within the text, is probably it's the more difficult thing for the actor, but it's more rewarding if it works.
I also think the blackouts probably help to create a more filmic experience
Yeah,
than if curtains were used.
and also a curtain takes probably 5 to 10 seconds,
Yeah.
whereas the blackout is
There's
a
also
bam.
a finality to a curtain
Yeah,
that a blackout doesn't have.
yeah, and a blackout, or called knockout sketches too, is often used in comedy, and a lot of these plays, and most of my plays, probably about 70% of them, while even those that are more dramatic in content, do have comedic elements to it. So blackouts often aid in the comedy too.
It's
But
interesting that you mentioned Woody Allen because I was thinking about this. When you look at his early comedies, uh, I would say that those are essentially great comedies like Love and Death.
the
I
early
mean,
funny ones.
yes, you can laugh at something every minute or two,
Yeah.
but they don't have any depth. And this one, which is probably one of your lighter plays, does have depth. Where you're talking about the Drake equation, the Goldilocks zone, uh, scientific concept, as well as sort of the relationship that you had with Carissa. So it's interesting that you have a very light, sarcastic tone throughout most of it, but how you're able to infuse these deeper thoughts and moments.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. I'm on page, what page is that? I'm on page 38. So let me just read you about 7 or 8 lines of dialogue. This is when Danny is with the gay posse and Carissa. And so there's Danny, there's Carissa, and then the rest of the part of the gay posse. So Danny says, I always say that if you can't count on good friends to torture you with your idiocies and idiosyncrasies, who can you count on? Martin. Exactly. I like you already, Danny. Well, even if half of what you say goes over my head. Danny to Carissa. See? To Martin. That's okay. I'll speak lower. In basso profundo. How's that? Carissa. What? Martin. You sound like LaBouffa. Danny. I'm likable, Kate. Take a hint. Carissa. What? I like you. You're right here, right? Danny, touche. Martin, I'm missing something. Ladonis in a Goma Pie like Southern accent. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So that's a really great, funny scene because you have a very the character's talking about speaking going over the head, and so Danny goes lower, but he doesn't go lower in terms of the intellectual content, but lower in his voice. And then you end up with this reference to Goma Pyle, which I don't know if you know, in the 1960s was a television show with Jim Nabors that was a spinoff from the Andy Griffith's show about this rube Southern guy who joins the army. So right in just those 7 or 8
Neighbors
lines.
was a closet case as well.
Well, yeah, Jim Neighbors. Yeah, I mean he was the boyfriend of Rock Hudson actually. Um, but in there you get a good sense of now that's good writing because some of the dialogue is going over one of the characters' head. Carissa isn't really listening or isn't getting that Danny is flirting with her. LaBouffa is, so you have these four people who are talking not past each other, but they're almost spinning a spider web of misconnections.
Yeah, that's the sense that you get, that no one is really talking directly to each other,
Yeah.
or getting anything out of the conversation outside of some funny connections here and there.